It will come together. So there's the fast speed, and we'll always come through at this speed. So even if it started here, right, we've immediately lost time because we had to see that fast one in the first place. Let's go connect.
La 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 la. Close your eyes, concentrate, let your imaginations fly. We'll journey through a cosmic state. We're reaching out to touch the sky. Ask your questions even if there are no simple answers. Don't be satisfied to settle with your past adventures. Just remember what was there. Looking for the future days. So exciting we could share. answer the call of emotions. Bearing the wish of a child's faith. It's an open book. Part of the joy that I get from this boy is his innocent laugh and his style. Come take another look. We got the sun, the moon. Open your eyes, not too soon. I feel the breeze heading our way. Hold on to your dreams, hold on to today. We got it all, and I believe it's right. Sharing our dreams and our passions, sky shining bright. We got it all. Day and night. Within your mind are clear reflections of another day. Precious moments are frozen in time.
Hello everyone, welcome to another stream. Welcome to a Tinfoil Saturday. How's everyone doing? I hope you're having a good weekend. So, well. Steven Crowder, abusive asshole. Who could have guessed? I know we talked about it briefly the other day, but I've seen the whole video now and holy shit. One of the conspiracy theorists we're covering today is going to take Steven Crowder's side. So that's not going to be great. Trigger warning for that. Everything else is pretty typical conspiracy fodder, I would say. We got some new Chris, we got some Tartaria stuff, we got some Space is Fake stuff. So it's all good. Hydrate. We can play bingo. So if you guys want to get bingo cards, feel free to. Also, the Cat Made outfit thing is a dentist donation fund now, so I can fix my gums. If we do end up hitting this goal for a donation at any point, you will get 5 Cat Made outfit days, instead of what would typically be 3 for $300. So there you go. You get a whole work week of Cat Made Hannah if we get my teeth fixed. Or my gums. So, yes, in a row. So feel free to do that if you would like. But if not, I get it. It's expensive. My gums just hurt a lot, and I would like to get them fixed. So, without further ado, let's get into the stream. Kirthan, thanks for 31 months, says hello, Hannah and chat. Hi, how you doing? Thanks for your tier 3. Did I see Illegal Eagle did a First Amendment auditor video? I didn't. I'll have to check it out. That'll be interesting. Hope you guys can't hear that. Someone's mowing their lawn, I think, a couple yards away just now. Hopefully it's not too distracting. Profane Priestess says, hello, Hannah. I aced all my final exams. I have 1 semester left in my associates, and then I'm searching for universities to finish my bachelor's at. I'm so proud of myself. Oh, nice. I'm proud of you, too, parasocially. Let me adjust this slightly. That seems about right. Okay, let's get into it. What are we doing first? Chris? We haven't done Chris in a couple weeks, so let's see what he's got going on. Recording in car on the bingo card.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's 4/28.
Blaze it.
2023.
Plus 8.
It's a Friday. I like to give you something to think about on a Friday, just in case if I'm unable to put a video out over the weekend. But something tells me I think I might.
Why is that ominous? Put up a video or don't. Don't act creepy, Chris.
You know, I want you to think about a couple things here.
Okay.
I want to start off with the sun and the moon, okay? Because these are objects that we see every day. During
Most of the time.
the daytime, during the nighttime.
Yeah. Those are the times.
Okay, we're told that one's reflecting light off of the other one, which is absolutely impossible because if everything was real and hunky-dory in the Walt Disney World, they like to explain our children, those astronauts would probably fry on the moon. Okay.
Chris, you know that light is reflecting from the sun off the Earth as well. So, like, where you are right now, what the fuck? Someone anonymously just killed the donation for the dentist in one shot. So I guess that's 5 days of maid outfits starting tomorrow, so that's great. Jesus Christ. Thank you, whoever that was. You've decided to remain anonymous, which is not, whoever you are. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I don't even know what to do. I'm so happy. Like, unironically, my fucking gums are gonna be... I'm so happy. My jaw has been hurting so fucking much. And now I can finally make the appointment. Oh, God. Oh, that's good. That's honestly very relieving. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Woo! Did I explain to them what's wrong with my jaw? It's infected. My gum and jaw is infected with bacteria. And it's swollen and hurts. But anyway, now I can go in and get it fixed, so... Whoever did that, thank you so fucking much. I guess starting tomorrow, we will be on 5 days of maid outfit in a row. Oh my god, and now we get a raid! Right after someone just so generously paid for my dental appointment. Hi, Lumi. How you doing? Welcome, everyone. I'm Hannah. I'm a leftist variety streamer. Today, we're looking at conspiracy theories and conspiracy theorists. I debunk them, laugh about it, talk about it, all that kind of stuff. We play Conspiracy Bingo as well, which you are playing. If anyone would like a bingo card, you have to do the command bingo with an exclamation point, no space. So, awesome. Good start to the stream. I will get my gums fixed, and all is well. Glad you're here. Join the Discord, too. It's a fun time. And check out Lumi. Lumi's channel's great.
Okay.
Oh, I should say, this is Chris. He is someone we cover regularly on this channel. He is a flat earther. He is kind of racist. His wife hates him. All sorts of fun stuff.
This is the reflection of the sun. And they would never be able to take any pictures up there nonetheless. The exposure would just be off the wall.
That's why they adjusted the exposure, Chris. We've talked about this before. The same reason that you can see the surface of the Earth is the reason you can't see the stars in the photographs from the surface of the moon, because the exposure was set to take pictures of the surface.
It's too white. It brightens the entire sky at night. The moon, that is, when it's full. There is no relationship between the sun and the moon, okay?
Demonstrably there is, Chris. Demonstrably there is. Everything you can see in the solar system in fucking space is because of the sun. Nothing else is self-illuminating. Citisaurus says, having an abscess is like repeatedly getting punched in the face with a perpetually exploding bomb in your face. It's a goddamn nightmare. I popped both of the ones I had. Glad you're getting your dental stuff taken care of. Me too. Me too. Sorry, Fennikagami. I apologize very much for missing your bits. Says, Hannah, sorry about your gums. I wish I could help, but my rent's due soon. Supporting a family of 3 on one income is rough. Oh, I bet. And I never want anyone to, like, feel bad for not donating to me, whether they just don't want to or can't. I am not owed anything. I appreciate any support that I'm given by you guys to run this show and for when I need things like this. I'm so appreciative that you guys are able to help me, and willing in many cases. Like, there's so many things you could spend money on, and the fact that you, like, apparently appreciate my commentary and content enough to help me out personally, it makes me feel really good, and I appreciate that. This is a great community, and, you know, I'm happy that I get to hang out with you guys every day. As an owner of gums, how do you feel about dental floss? I floss! I'm telling you. Here's the problem. I floss regularly. I have this retaining bar at the bottom of my teeth. It's like a permanent retainer, because I had braces in high school, and it makes it so hard to get all the way down to floss. You got to get special tools and, like, loop it through. It's a pain. I'm going to see if I can get rid of the bar, because, again, that was put in, like, a decade ago, and it's disconnecting anyway. I don't know.
We've
I'm just a mouthful of dental problems.
done the experiments. The moon projects cold. Okay. But I want to get into something else with you today.
Yeah, one of the recommendations that the dentist had when I got the consultation was to get a water pick after this treatment, so.
I've spoken about that, and it's
I think they said electric toothbrush and a water pick or something.
a terrific topic to discuss and bring up with a scientist. And let's see his answer for that. You know, I'm sure he'll come up with something. They always do, but they never makes any sense. Because
Chris, I'm sorry that answers that are given to you by textbooks or scientists or whatever, I'm sorry that those don't feel satisfying to you, but the fact that you personally don't understand what's being explained to you isn't an argument that it's not true, because there's entire bodies of research proving all of the things that you think aren't true. You don't get to think the moon isn't real, Chris. The moon is real.
Because when you make shit up, you can't explain it, okay? Just like black matter. They can't explain it.
Dark matter, not black matter. Fennikagami says, I understand that, but I do my best to help people when I can. As rough as my situation is, I know other people have it worse. I help my trainees get food until their first paycheck comes in for the same reason. Citosaurus says, I have one of those. They made me get one after the second time I had braces, because the first time I didn't wear my retainer because I was 12 and stupid. That thing lasted for like 15 to 20 years, only needing to be re-glued once after the dentist accidentally dislodged it. I hated having that thing. Oh, it sucks. Yeah, holographic moon on the bingo card. We also had filming in car, of course. Gnome Pickles says, textbook hard to understand, and since I'm the biggest brain haver, therefore, they don't make sense to anyone. That's a problem of his. He thinks if he doesn't understand it, no one can.
So they make it up. It's bullshit. You understand that?
By definition, I'm pretty sure dark matter just means matter that we are not familiar with. Like, we understand that based on our understanding of, like, the Big Bang, there should be X amount of matter, and we have, like, 5% of X or something. So when they say dark matter, my understanding as a layperson was that it basically just meant matter that we cannot identify, matter that we don't see, we don't know where it is, but it presumably exists somewhere based on our current understanding of physics. But again, I'm a random asshole in my house, not a scientist, so don't quote me. Profane Priestess says, the moon does not project cold. Areas that are hit by light are worse at trapping heat. It's actually, yes, it's because of radiative heating. It's because often places with shade are covered by something like a tree branch or something, so heat takes longer to dissipate. Anyway, they always test this hypothesis by measuring the temperature under trees and in buildings. Somehow they don't realize that buildings and the like trap hot air. Scotty the Scott, thanks for 10 months, says black matter lives, probably.
There you go, okay? I think the moon is a projection and the sun is a reflection, okay? And that would explain the sun flares that you can see once in a while during the eclipse, okay? The reason why I believe the moon's a projection is because it's projecting cold light.
It is not projecting cold light. That is not how thermodynamics works. You cannot project cold, right? It's why you can't, like you can't have a self-contained AC unit that works, right? Like, you can't just have... How do I explain this? You can have a heater, right? And a heater can just be self-contained, right? Just a little box you could have that produces heat and radiates it about. Because heat can be produced, right? You can produce heat by putting energy into a system, okay? You can't make cold by putting energy into a system, right? You have to pull the heat out. You gotta take the heat and put it somewhere. That's why when we're talking about, like, air conditioning units, sure, they blast cold air, but what they're doing is they're moving warm air out. Like, that's why they're in the window, is because they have to suck the hot out and put it somewhere else. That's why even portable AC units have tubes that you have to stick out the window or something, because what it is doing is moving the heat elsewhere, because you can't move cold, you can only move heat. Cold is just the absence of heat. Heat is a measurement of the energy of the atoms within a given thing. You cannot project cold by definition. It would be like saying you have a flashlight that you turn it on and it makes things darker. Like, that's not how it works. Darkness is the absence of light. You can't project darkness. Gnome Pickles says, yes, Chris, it's cold light. Definitely not the test firing of Project Cold Feet, where some handsome pickled gentleman will cover the earth in layers of ice to escape the hellscape others call summer.
The reason why I believe the sun is a reflection coming from somewhere else, possibly being magnified, is because of the heat and because of the supposed sun flares and the electricity that you get in the morning, you know, when this comes closer to you and goes away from you, or further away from you. Because that's what the sun does. Okay. So let's take a look at that. All right. So if one is a reflection, okay, and the other one is a projection, all right, how could you explain the eclipse? Interesting point. Very good point.
I like that what he's doing is effectively he sits in his car all day and makes up hypothetical scenarios that are entirely based on his misunderstanding of science and physical reality, and he just goes around in circles, just coming up with flawed questions and answering with even more flawed answers. Like, it's nonsense. It's beautiful.
I like when people ask that question, because the eclipse actually proves the flat Earth, and it also proves many other things too. But okay, so when
Flat Earth on the bingo card.
when the moon goes over the sun, supposedly it covers it. Okay.
The moon goes in front of the sun from the perspective of certain places on the Earth. That is what an eclipse is, or at least one kind of eclipse.
Shouldn't you? Why? Yeah, okay. Shouldn't you be able to see the front of the moon? That's
What would be reflecting light onto the front of the moon, because the thing that makes the moon illuminate is on the opposite side of it. So what would be illuminating the moon? It is illuminated on the side you don't see, because that side is facing the sun, the thing that reflects light from. But you're looking at the side that is the direct opposite of the side that the sun is on, so it doesn't have light to reflect. At least not enough to notice. The Earth does reflect light, you know, because you can see it in space. Anything you can see is reflecting light to you in some way, but not enough to, like, illuminate the surface of the moon to any extent. Who's Your Friend says, you can't project cold, only say that because you haven't met my mom. Oh. That made me sad.
right. the front of the moon.
It's fine. I'm your mom now. Go do something productive. Go outside and play with your friends. Champ. I'd be a bad parent.
Because of the reflection that's coming back from Earth. Because it should be bright. The shadow's only 70 miles large. There should be a reflection from the moon of light, so you can see the front of the moon while it's eclipsing the sun.
But why do you think that? What light do you think it is reflecting? It's a sphere, and the side that is facing us isn't being illuminated by the sun because it's on the opposite side.
Okay, but you can't see that. It's like a disc. It's like an imaginary thing, and that's exactly what it is. They call it the black sun. You can't see it. It's up there.
Can you have ice cream for dinner? Yes. Save me some.
It's like you can't hear the tones from a dog whistle. Well, there's a lot of things we can't see up there that the Creator made.
Is he saying the light of the Earth should be lighting up the moon? I honestly don't know, because again, if that's what he's saying, there isn't enough light being reflected by the Earth outward into space to illuminate the moon's surface. But I don't even know if he's thinking that far. He just thinks the moon is its own light source, so...
He or she, whoever it may be, made your eyes, made your body, made everything work, programmed everything for you. Okay? That's what the Creator's done. You don't think the Creator is going to make something that's a tangible object up there that we can go up and hurt it or do something to it or blow up or something like that? No.
By that, why would anything exist then, Chris? Because we blow everything up. Why's the moon special? We can't blow up the moon? God's so picky. Don't give us a moon if you don't want us to blow it up. Jesus.
No, that's why I believe the sun is a projection.
It's not even fair. It's like you set it up for failure. You gave all the other planets, like, multiple moons. So we could have had, like, what if we had, like, 6 moons, okay? We blow up maybe the first moon, and we're like, all right, that's our bad. 2 moons, maybe you're like, all right, no more moon blowing up. I think you can get to 3 moons down before it's a serious issue. After that, then we can talk about punishments for moon explosions. But I think being punitive about 1 single moon explosion, overboard.
Reflection. Okay? Now, the moon, on the other hand, is another thing you can never get to. See, they've already tried to do this. You see, I'm sure with all the money that they take in, $52 million or whatever, let's put inflation now, it's got to be like $90 million a day. They've shot a rocket toward the moon, and it keeps getting there, but the moon's going further and further away, the rocket's getting closer and closer, and the moon keeps going further and further away, and then bam! It hits the dome. Explosion. Oh well, there goes your moon.
Chris, on what are you basing this mad claim that they have tried and failed to go to the moon because they hit a dome? Gnome Pickles says, so we started with 8 moons, now due to someone who will remain me, we only have 1. Did you know that flammable and inflammable mean the same thing? Because I do now.
You see, that's the beauty of it. This is how much fun it is. Because what flat earthers and what we've done, we've condensed the universe that has billions and trillions and quadrillions and zillions and whatever the fuck number they can come up with and make up, they'll tell you, is the size of, and we've condensed it down to something that is understandable. And that's all it is.
Yeah, that's a scale model, Chris. We employ scale models of things because the reality of the situation is difficult to see easily. Let's say we had like a sun that was the size of a basketball, and we were trying to make an actual scale model, right? The planets that you would have to make would be so far away, it wouldn't be able to easily be perceived by like a child. So we make models that aren't scale models, but are rough equivalents, at least in size or something, or sometimes in distance, but not size, whatever. And we're like, hey, here's what the planets look like, here's what the solar system looks like, vaguely. We do that often when we explain things to children. There was an author who had a name for this, basically lies for children, and they're not malicious lies. It's kind of like when we show children or high schoolers the atomic model with like the nucleus in the center and the very stable orbits of like the electrons and stuff. Like, that's not really what atoms are like, right? They're not these like perfect like orbits or whatever, and it's not like that. But it's an easy way of explaining a basic concept, and then as they get older, if they go into that speciality, it gets explained further, and you dispel the misconceptions that come across through the simple explanation. But for most people, it's a good enough explanation for your day-to-day life, right? That's fine.
That's what we've done. We've made it understandable. We've made it understandable to a point that it's flat, covered with a dome. Stars do not exist. You're not landing on anything. You're not going anywhere. Rockets don't go anywhere except into the ocean. All right? And that's where they go. They blow.
Here you go, CC, an accurate-to-scale model of the solar system. Oh yeah, we've looked at this before. If the moon were only 1 pixel... So here's the pixel. The moon. There's the sun. It takes a really long time to scroll. We're 3 million kilometers away from the sun now. Oh, there we go. It started moving. It gets faster as you go. You click the link. It's not as good when I like show someone and I don't have the time to actually go through it right now because we've done it before. But I would recommend that link. It is interesting to see the immensity of the scale between the planets. Maybe Chris would understand if he saw it.
Blow them up. It's an amazing amateur rocket hour as far as I'm concerned. You know, and then they say, you know, NASA, so many people that work for NASA. Yeah, that's right. There's plenty of people that work for NASA. There are people that are painting the shuttle. There are people that are building the rockets for the shuttle. There are people that are making...
Chris, we haven't been in the shuttle program for like a decade.
Trajectories to the moon so we can get there in a certain way because everything's a clock up there. It's predictable. You can predict it for hundreds of years in the future. That's what it's up. That's what the creator put up there. A clock for us. So we can...
Nope. Physics are just predictable events. Once you understand them, they function by a set of rules, and you can use those rules to extrapolate future events. It's kind of the general outline of science in general is making observations that you can then use to make rules or, like, general truisms about things that you can use to predict future events.
We can predict things. We know when things come. You know, comets are the same thing. Oh, yeah, that's right. There's an amazing light show coming up. Yes, that's right. A historic event, Libra or something, meteor shower is coming. You know what I love about the pictures, though, that Google gives you? NASA likes to give you pictures of this shooting star that's coming. You know, all these shooting stars. There's going to be probably like 100 of them in less than an hour or something like that. But, see, people don't notice that. They like to put a few of them going up. See, we've never noticed that. We've never seen a fucking meteor go up like that. I've always seen them come down, but I've never seen them go up. But meanwhile, NASA will give you these nice little pictures.
What are you talking about? Go up?
With fucking meteors going up here, down, squiggly lines and crisscrosses and all sorts of stuff. It's wonderful. CGI bullshit. Bud Light bullshit.
Oh God, here we go. Are we gonna get transphobia on the bingo card? I wasn't expecting this. Chris, don't do it.
What's going on with Bud Light? Come on, Anheuser-Busch,
Oh God!
20-year-old company, okay? And Bud Light is what? It's an 80s beer. It came out somewhere around then. They're going to bank their entire company, okay, on the 1% of the population.
Chris, they did one Instagram ad. They did not bank their company on this. Y'all are just fucking weirdos who freak out about trans people existing.
To try to get sales. Okay, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're up to. All I know is they're going to parachute out as more money than they could possibly imagine when all of this is cleared up. Or maybe the company will go out of business. I don't know. Or maybe somebody out there wants to see exactly how effective we are in bringing down
Not very effective, apparently. Their stock price is up.
a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. They want to see. They want to test the waters. Look, they're gonna have to come up with. They're gonna have to come out with flat Earth at some point. Okay. I mean, you got famous actors that are talking about it. You got everybody talking about it now. You know, you go up.
What universe does he live in where everyone's talking about flat Earth? I think Chris and I are the last two people talking about flat Earth on a weekly basis.
People, and you mentioned flat Earth, I know that. I know flat Earth. Where, 7 years ago, they would say, what? Wouldn't even listen to you. Now they're starting to listen.
I swear to God, we're like a decade out from a general actual policy position of the Republican Party in the United States being flat Earth. Like, I'm like 50% sure that Republicans are going to adopt flat Earth at some point in the future. And it'll be funny and sad, like a lot of other things in life. Red Werewolf says, Chris, every beer you love has been marketing to gay bars for decades. Do they think, like, LGBT people don't drink? Apparently they haven't been to Pride.
Okay. Because other people are coming out with it. Famous people are coming out with it. They might not be broadcasting it on networks and on the internet, okay, but they are talking about it. I remember when I first got into this, and I would have the trolls. Whatever happened to the trolls that said that Flat Earth is the biggest internet hoax ever? Whatever happened to them? I used to get a lot of those. Oh my god, it is an internet hoax.
I think they probably moved on because trolling, like, I'm gonna self-own here, like, dunking on flat earthers is very 2017, 2018. Like, I fully understand that this is a played-out activity that I am engaged in currently, but I just find it fascinating on a personal level, so I still do it. But I imagine people who used to troll Chris regularly stopped because the joke just gets old. How many times do you laugh at someone who thinks the earth is flat? I do it regularly because I'm weird and just, like, the repetition, I find it interesting, but...
Hoax. Where are those trolls today? Oh, I guess they're gone. Oh, they're new now. Now we have a whole other batch of them. You'll see some on my channel, and if you go to my other friends, channels that I'm sub with, they also go over there. It's funny. It really is. But what happened to the internet hoax? Some hoax has been going on for quite some time now. Quite some time. There have been conferences, TV commercials, people coming out, presidents even talking.
Stephen J. Neptune Man says, I'm sorry, he lost me. What's Chris's proof this week that the earth is flat and space is fake? Eclipses. Eclipses exist.
Talking about it. I mean, you got everybody talking about it. These are all things to think about, okay? I don't know. I mean, it's... Oh, anyway. So, okay. Back to the sun and the moon. Got a little sidetracked. I'm running out of time. Shit. Okay, so the shadow is only 70 miles going across the U.S., the U.K., wherever, Europe, wherever the hell it's going around. So why can't we see that? Why can't we see the moon in front of the sun instead of a...
You can, that's what the darkness is, but you can't see the face of the moon that's facing you because what normally illuminates it, the sun is on the opposite side, because that's what it's blocking. It's literally blocking a light source from illuminating it.
Black disc. It doesn't make any sense. At all. I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos. Let me be a part of your life.
God damn, Chris. Okay, so this is gonna be bad. So that lady, who thinks was married to Q from QAnon in a past life, she has opinions on Steven Crowder abusing his soon-to-be ex-wife. I assume you can see the sign, so you know where this is going. So trigger warning for, like, victim blaming, probably some, like, sexism, general stuff shitting on an abuse victim is going to be my guess here, so. Fenn Kagami says these people think that most of the world is just like them, and they constantly build echo chambers because they can't handle the reality that it's not true. It's why they're obsessed with the silent majority and Stop the Steal and the Cabal. They can't handle how small it makes them feel to be a minority. I guess that's true. Yeah. First Name Bunch Number says the shadow isn't the same with width all the time. The recent eclipse was very narrow, only about 25 miles wide at the widest point, and was even annular at the end points. It still looked cool, though, and the next one will last longer than 60 seconds.
Well, hello.
It's evil Gina. This lady's Gina if she was evil. Like, if this was a soap opera, this would be Gina's evil twin sister.
April 27th, 2023. And I think this says it all.
Meek says, I just realized Boxy is probably the only person you haven't impregnated yet. What?
Well, no, it doesn't say it all. I'm going to say a lot more than that. But this is the starter, and this is definitely going to set the tone. Steven Crowder's ex-wife, Hillary, is a lazy, stupid bitch.
No, she's not. No, she's not, though. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know much about her personally. She did marry Steven Crowder, so I doubt very much that we would get along personally. But, like, this has nothing to do with the fact that she was abused. She was abused!
Get a job, Hillary.
I don't think she's gonna have to after she takes half of Steven Crowder's money. Which, good for her.
Hey, you failed as a wife. You had a job. It was a really good job. Wife and a mother, and you failed. You failed miserably. I saw the video. This is
How can you see the video of Steven Crowder and her and think in any way that she was at fault?
also a little
She was 8 months pregnant. Yep.
side.
DM Trey, thanks for 36 months, says 3 years of Hannah time and a new baby. Oh my god. Is that a stream baby? 9, 18, 24, 30... I don't know. Someone do math for me. No, because 27. That's not one yet, right? No, it is. Shit. Fuck. And 3 years. That's nice that that syncs up. This sub-baby's name is going to be... Alan Gregory Winchester Jr.
Kick to Candace Owens, you stupid cunt.
Why is she so aggressive?
For airing private video footage of Steven Crowder and his wife arguing about her taking the car out while she was pregnant. This is the most slimy, dirty thing anyone could possibly do. Thank you, Orb. And Orb showed up just before I started rolling, and I said thanks right away because I'm probably going to be one of the few people who says something different. And I actually mean this. I'm not trying to be contrarian. I'm furious. I'm furious. And I cried for Steven Crowder.
If you're crying for Steven Crowder, you need to reevaluate your priorities. The Orb, she sees sometimes dust particles will appear on camera, as happens, and she thinks they're ghosts or spirits or aliens or something. They're orbs. They're not. They're dust. But she thinks they're orbs. Profane Priestess, thanks for the cleanse. We'll look at later, or it's coming up now, I guess.
Oh, there he is! Oh no, Sam Cedar! What a fucking nightmare!
Look into your future, Steven.
Wagroads, thanks for 36 months. That's another stream baby. This stream baby's name is going to be Marco. Marco. Just Marco.
This is where it all starts to come apart for you.
That's good. Moira Soma with 100 bits kicks off a hype train. Nice.
This is what's wrong with the world right now, Hillary. You. And Steven, I gotta say this. She's the wrong girl for you, and you should have known by that name. That's a...
Steven, I think... Oh, what's this woman's name? I think Michelle here. I think she's got a thing for you. Consider it.
cursed name.
Bittergrin, thanks for 5 tier 1 subs, getting us over level 1. Oh, and Terradona, thanks for gifting 3 subs.
Who was her mother? Her mother must be some kind of a majestic Karen type. that she would name her daughter Hillary. Okay, you should have known. That is a cursed name.
It's a cursed name because of Hillary? Because of Hillary Clinton? Marmoset K, thanks for tier 1. Level 3 complete. Raja, thanks for 18 months. This sub baby's name is going to be Polo. Just Polo. Stephen J. Neptune Man says, the only people I've seen defend Crowder are Fresh and Fit, Evil Gina, and Twitter Blue checkmarks. Sounds about right. Yeah. My dad probably would. My dad is very much like Steven Crowder in that video. Let me put it that way. Cidosaurus says she's got a little crush. Them granny flaps are yearning for Steven's shriveled manhood.
And from what I saw in the video, like that patronizing, that is almost the quintessential, typical thing that women do. And I want to talk about that video piece. There's Hillary, pregnant, standing up, being the aggressor. But
Wait, she's the aggressor because she's not seated during this interaction where she's trying to leave the house? What?
she's the passive aggressor, acting like, I love you, Steven, but I'm still going to get my way.
Oh my god, she's trying to defuse the situation and de-escalate. What?
I love you, Steven, but your abuse is sick. I'm going to break that down because that's just her opinion that his abuse is sick.
Okay, it's also my opinion, the opinion of everyone else that saw that clip who isn't a fucking psycho. Meek says, funny enough, Destiny has a similar takes on the Crowder that Evil Gina has. Oh, of course he does. What a fucking loser.
She called it abuse, and then she called it sick. She didn't own it and say, I don't like the way it feels when you tell me to do something that I don't want to do because I'm a spoiled, lazy brat.
Because that's not what's happening, Gina. That's your opinion.
No, I'm not just
a bad one, by the way.
Disciplined, and I want to get my way, and I want the car, and I want to go out, and I want to do what I want. I don't want to take the dog for a walk. I don't want to.
She's 8 months pregnant! Wasn't she like 9 or 8 months pregnant with twins, too? Like, what? Y2 Yasmin says, is it just me or does this woman exemplify, like, defines the phrase white privilege? Just like the exact kind of woman we say, oh, it's fine, she was born in a different time. Oh, for sure. She's got that terrible grandma energy of just the worst kind of person, but they're old, so some people think you can't, like, talk shit about them. Moira Soma says, Crowder's wife is from a very strict evangelical family, as I understand, so she was primed for... Oops, sorry. So she was primed for abuse, but her family supports her now. Oh yeah, that cycle of abuse happens over and over. It's sick and it's sad. Nemesaur, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs and getting us over another level.
And I don't like the way it feels right now with you. So, but instead, that's what you call gaslighting. That is...
She is not fucking gaslighting. Oh my god, if you watch the video, he's gaslighting her. Cidosaurus says, don't you dare disrespect our Gina by using her name for this evil word I'm not going to repeat. 22% to level 6.
Massive. That's the manipulation and abuse that women do to men. Thank you, Orb. It's exactly what she did to him. He
asking to not be abused and treated like dog shit is abuse. Lovely.
Wasn't abusing her. She was abusing him.
Bullshit.
He was sitting down, okay?
You can abuse people while seated, Gina.
He was sitting down. His body stance was sitting down, and he was saying, no, Hillary, show some discipline. Are you going to take the dog for a walk? No, Hillary, I need the car. Okay? The issue at that very moment...
He didn't need the car. That was the whole point. He didn't, but he was like, but what if I want it later? He didn't need it. He just didn't want her to use it.
And I've seen this in the comments, was not why they didn't have two cars. The issue was it was happening at that very, very moment. And the fact that Hillary released that video to the public is the most abusive thing she could possibly have done. It's way
oh my god, go fuck yourself.
More abusive than anything Steven Crowder could ever have done to her. Obviously it is, because she has footage. If she had some other story or some other worse thing than that footage of what Steven Crowder apparently did to her, she would have released it. We can see that by now. She'll
what the fuck?
Use any weapon.
Yeah, evil Gina is too evil today.
And she can to make him look bad. That was the best you had, Hillary? Well, it made you look bad. Made you look bad. Are you kidding me? Not only was it recorded, but you handed it out to the public. I mean, Candace Owens, do you want their private sex life on your show too? Is that what you're going to do next? Porn? Because you're pretending like you're some superior, self-righteous...
Look, Candace Owens is also a piece of shit, but releasing that footage is not wrong. I hope more gets released that shows the piece of shit that he is. Smish says, you keep using this word. I don't think it means what you think it means. Fenakagami says, Mrs. Crowder, Mrs. Chowder, that's my fault, I'm sorry. Mrs. Crowder tried to save the marriage repeatedly. Stephen literally walked out on her. He was planning to divorce her first because he refused to do what the counselor said. She was trying to get ahead of him.
Conservative girl, and yet you infiltrated their intimacy far more
yes, being abused, the most intimate thing of all.
intimate than just sex. Their intimate relationship, and you aired it on your show. I find this disgusting. Listen, women belong barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen.
That's not how women work on the bingo card.
Okay?
To be clear, she was pregnant and barefoot literally in the video where she's being abused. Like, I don't think it's relevant, but I just want to point out she was literally barefoot and pregnant with twins, and it still wasn't enough to keep her from getting abused by Steven Crowder. Being this, like, supplicant trad wife is not going to protect you from abusive men. It's just going to make them feel like they can abuse you even easier. It's not going to save you. Don't be a pick-me.
They barely got the vote because of this kind of insane historical stuff that Hillary did. Hillary just broke up a family. She broke up a family. You know why? Because she couldn't do her job.
Jesus Christ. Profane Priestess says, I swear, so many think the only thing that qualifies as abuse is physically assaulting someone. Belittling someone like Steven did is just fine. It just blows my mind that so many people are so lacking in empathy. P.S. Remember that emergency surgery Steven had a while back? Turns out that was fully elective and he chose to have it while she was literally in labor. Yes, it was gender-affirming surgery for him. He was uncomfortable with the fact that his chest had like a dip in it. He thought it made him, you know, he didn't have a wide enough chest or whatever. So he got something that made him feel more masculine, and that was something to make his chest more normative. And I'm happy for him. But that's probably not a thing you want to schedule while your wife is in labor. Or even close to it. H-Beard says, just got home from spending the entire day in pantyhose. I'd burn them, but I'm pretty sure the fumes would be toxic. Makes people bitching about masks seem even more pathetic. True. Bittergrin says, wasn't she just trying to go to the grocery store? Like, how is it that not perfect trad wife? Yeah, doesn't make a lot of sense. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Do your job, Hillary. Now, look at this. You need to understand the implications of what has happened because Hillary couldn't be a good wife. I mean, obviously, Steven Crowder was being a good husband. He was out there.
Fucking no, he isn't! What? Fenakagami says these people think privacy means you're entitled to never have any horrible thing happening in your home from ever being found out, even in court. Yep.
Being a protector and a provider. And all this stuff about him getting heart surgery while she was giving birth. Do you know men never...
It wasn't heart surgery, it was chest surgery.
Ever attended their wives' births unless they were in the bush helping give birth with them. This is not...
And that's stupid. That's stupid and backward and antiquated. Be with your partner while they're having their kid.
A thing that men have done until they started being sissified.
Sissified?
My dad didn't attend any of the 5 births that my mom had.
Wow, your dad kind of sounds like a piece of shit. That's unfortunate.
My mom never held that up against him. That wasn't a big deal. He never even changed a diaper. You know what he did do? He provided. My mom had an awesome life. Yeah, she worked hard and so did he. And I remember
And you turned out great.
those arguments. Thank you, Orb. I remember those arguments.
Thank you, Orb! Point proven? Thank you, Orb.
And I remember when feminism hit, our household was sane until feminism hit. And then it was insane when my mother went insane with that feminism stuff. And they argued and argued and argued. And I remember distinctly my father saying, you've moved the goalposts. When we got married, we both had roles. And we both played those roles brilliantly. And they both did, all the way to the end. My dad ended up winning this argument because he was right.
Your dad sounds like a piece of shit. Glad he's probably dead. Moira Soma says, I'm not one of those people who thinks all extreme homophobes are secretly gay, but Crowder has expressed that he has had a bisexual phase, but he for over it quickly, like that is a thing, so I think there's something there. I don't care to speculate. Stephen J. Neptune Man says, upon further reflection, does Ethan Klein outsmarting Steven Crowder show how smart Ethan Klein actually is, or how dumb Steven Crowder is? The latter. Fennec Kagami says, none of these Crowder defenders find it weird at all that a millionaire only has one car. That's obviously a control tactic. Oh, for sure, for sure, for sure. Gnome Pickles says, I would count whining about any criticism a man gets as much more. Well, I am not going to use that same word because I'm better person than you, Orb Lady. Yeah, line between Shudwatch and Tinfoil Tuesday Thins.
And my mom knew he was right. In the end, she could see he was right. And feminism helped her build resentments. She ended up...
Feminism, I would assume, perhaps, articulated certain feelings that she had had and grievances with the way that society is, and then your dad basically told her to shut the fuck up and not do that, and she did. That's not a happy ending. That's really sad. That's really sad that your parents weren't able to communicate equitably for him to hear the concerns she had. That's tragic.
Resenting being a mother and a wife. She hurt all of us with feminism. She seemed content until feminism told her she wasn't supposed to be content. And then she argued and fought and went through the whole thing. She went through she went through everything. She ran away. Like, it was hard on our family, feminism was.
Feminism? Oh my god. Imagine all this happens and your takeaway is this is the fault of feminism. How dog shit was your dad that she felt the need to run away? Because people don't run away from situations that are fine.
And
that's not feminism's fault, lady. I'm just assuming at this point her dad probably abused her mom in the same way, and that's why she doesn't see a problem with this.
My mom was a fantastic
She potentially was abused the same way if she was married. I don't know.
housewife and a fantastic mother. She was really a good housewife, and she came back to that. And she ended her life being a fantastic housewife to my father, who made money. Behind every successful man is a woman, loving him, taking care of him. Okay, they're the odd women who conquer the world and make that status, that same status and position that men do. But generally speaking, men rule the world because they're actually meant to be the leaders, to be the providers, that's the way we're all built, right? I'm meant to run the household. Like I've said in another video, I make an absolutely beautiful wife. I'm wife material. I get the wife stuff. I totally get it.
If that's what you want to do, is follow a traditional like path, like traditional as in 1950s America shit, that's your business. That's fine. I don't care what people do. The entire point of feminism is for people to have the choice. Is for people to have the agency to decide what they want to do and to be respected for those choices, or at least not disrespected for those choices as long as those choices are their own and aren't hurting anyone. Like, that's reasonable, is for people to be able to do what they want.
Suck his cock. Bring him his slippers and his pipe. Shut up. Cook him dinner, make him a sandwich. Make sure that when he comes home through that door, that he is loved, that he is taken care of, and not challenged and not nagged.
This is so fundamentally depressing to hear how little she thinks of herself as a human being. Oh.
Men hate being nagged.
It's like she has Stockholm syndrome from abusive men in her life.
More than anything in the whole world, it's abuse.
This is what we call internalized misogyny. Internalized misogyny. Auntie Pretzel says, now where did I leave my Rem Lazar? I have a feeling she needs to go to somewhere even higher than space.
I can't believe that you guys can't see that Hillary was abusing Steven Crowder.
This is sad. Rageology says, in that case, shit the fuck up, lady, and go clean something and stop making YouTube videos. Y2 Yasmin says this lady unironically is telling people to give men a safe space when I guarantee she screams about safe spaces in school or the internet. How little introspection can you have? I have a degree and I'm baffled.
Like, this has been a problem for a long time, that the way that a man might present something, that he would be himself, aggressive, dominant, thank you, Orbs, a bull, that he would just act like his normal male self. You've not even allowed for that to occur anymore. He can't even be the man of his own house. Now you're literally stripping him naked in front of the whole world. He can't even be the man of his own house. You've got a camera.
If being a man of your house means abusing people, then men should be banned. Oh, this fucking thing. Did everyone see this shit? Similar vein of just disgusting sexist bullshit. No, the wife did not know about these vows beforehand.
The groom said this earlier in the wedding day.
Anything you want to say to your future bride?
I hope we have a lot of sex. A lot.
I should have known his vows were gonna go like this.
You're screwed.
They're both Trump supporters, by the way, to contextualize this.
Only two things are required to keep me happy: keep my belly full and my balls empty. Though you're amazing at half of it, we really need to get you some cooking lessons.
These are their wedding vows in front of their families. Rageology says, I feel I grew as a man, and by that I mean I grew tits and became a woman. And it was a Harry Potter themed wedding. Oh wow, they're checking a lot of boxes. Gnome Pickle says, the constant orb comments remind me of a dude freaking out because he walked into a bush that was full of orb weaver spiders. That was a fun day for me, just hearing a man shouting, ah, orbs!
Even when my belly isn't full, there is no one I could ever love more in this lifetime, unless I actually get a chance to meet Margot Robbie. Since the beginning, I was always told, life gets even better when the kids fall asleep and you tell me to come to the bedroom. Nothing's better than the sound of gagging and headboard slamming.
Michael.
P.S. And
Like, this isn't... So...
You're so good at making decisions, like marrying me. You can choose whether tonight's going to end with being a toaster strudel or a Twinkie.
Alrighty. Being that I am his mom, I will deal with him later. He is grounded. By all means.
Like, I understand having, like, I obviously, you guys know me. I'm not against, like, having a sexual sense of humor or whatever. But these are your wedding vows? This is, like, the one opportunity you have to be in front of people and, like, say, like, this is why I love this person, and this is, like, why I want to be with you. And his entire vows were just, I see you as a sexual object. Like, you are someone I want to fuck. That's it. That's all I gleaned from their relationship based on his vows. Her vows were nice. His were just disgusting fucking... Not cool. Do I plan to watch the Crowder and wife ring camera footage? We watched it already. And it was in front of their daughters, yes. I would imagine since they're Trump supporters, I would imagine that they think that trans people are grooming children. Meanwhile, that's what they're doing in front of their fucking kids.
Camera on him. You got a camera on him, and you're going to show the world anytime that he might be his normal male aggressive, I'm the leader of this house self. He said no, Hillary, and she disobeyed him. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? I mean, like, no, honey, you work hard. Like, you are disciplined. You're right. I kind of feel guilty that I'm not as disciplined as you, and I need to up my game. I need to up my game, Steven Crowder, because you're A-type, and I'm...
Rageology says, hot take, ban on cis men, only trans men allowed to do it better. Two things. One, I try not to do the whole... Especially since I think it's really easy. How do I put this? Since I've transitioned, I think it's easy to fall into that trope of, like, all men bad. And I try not to do that, because it's objectively not true. I know you know, plenty of men who are fine. And also, when I see people make that distinction and be like, except for cis or for trans men, I've heard trans men express that that's very hurtful. You're effectively, like, making a pretty big distinction between trans men and cis men that I don't think is fair. Like, I wouldn't want someone to make that big of a distinction between cis women and trans women in the same way, you know? It's othering. Just a thought. I'm not saying, like, just how I feel about it and how I've heard other people, like, express, so.
I'm a lazy Karen who whines and snivels about everything, and I'm pregnant, and I think just because I'm carrying your children, I don't have to do anything more, and I just need to go out. I just need my space. I just need my space. Okay? Look what she's done to him. She's aired this. Like, how can anyone like this Hillary Crowder person? And here's what's going to happen to poor Steven Crowder in the future. He's going to have to pay not only for Hillary and those children, but for the next guy that moves into the place that he's paying for.
I mean, if she gets alimony and she's not married to the guy, sure, I guess. Okay. I don't really give a shit.
Some other guy's going to be the father of his children. That's
good. Maybe the kids will have a chance.
Like, this is the complete crushing of men.
If the men getting crushed are abusive like Steven Crowder, I'm not going to cry a tear. There are plenty of, like, guys out there who are nice and not abusive and all that. They're fine. People like Steven Crowder can get fucked.
Emasculation of men. So it's not just now that Steven Crowder is being humiliated. It's every day from here on in for the rest of his life with those children.
Good. Fuck him. Fanakagami says, as a cis man who's been in the same relationship for 13 years, I will say being a real man is respecting your partner and the people around you. Real men, like all good partners, support their partners and help them and the rest of their families grow.
He has to deal with some other relationship or many other relationships that Hillary's going to have. Because quite clearly Hillary can't stay committed and doesn't understand what marriage is all about. She said she was committed. I'm committed to you. I totally understood what he was saying. She didn't get it, and neither did the rest of you. You don't just say, oh, I'm committed, I love you. More than...
Well, Stephen, you got the orbs lady on your side, so...
than words. More than words. Men need to be shown, okay? Show him. Did you see that orb? Show him. Men need to be loved. They've been through centuries of war. They have been crushed in every way.
Men have been through centuries of war. Ah, yes, war, this outside force that comes from nowhere like a natural disaster, and we have no control over it. And no woman's ever been the victim of war, by the way. Don't ask about Nanking.
Way, shape, and form. And now they're still being asked to be providers when the economy is crashing. Look what Steven Crowder is carrying on his shoulders. You know, everyone thinks my dad is the nicest guy in the world, and he is. And he's brilliant, and he's a genius, and he tries hard to inspire.
Steven Crowder isn't a genius. He's been telling the same joke for like 15 years. Y2 Yasmin says, how much of this do you think is, like, magnified by the fact the girl's name is Hillary? Like, if Crowder's wife had been named Ivanka, do you think they'd still defend it this hard? It's kind of weird to think about. Sorry, hi. In her case specifically, it's probably a contributing factor because she's crazy. I would say in general, probably not. But for her, yes, probably a little bit.
For people and for his outside self to be someone that is presentable. But behind closed doors, he would get drunk and freak out and have tantrums. And my mother took care of him. So she got mad at him, and she was his counterbalance. And behind closed doors, she also kept him in line. But that was where he could cry. That's where he could freak out. That's where he could stress out. He employed tons of people. Everything was riding on his shoulders every single day. And there were always competition and things and the market and the government and everything trying to take him down. People don't understand what
fucking this complex is so ridiculous.
Men go through, truly go through. I've been talking about this with my father lately. The pressure they really are under. And how when they don't perform, they just want to crawl away and hide. That's why men run away. That's why some dads even run away, and they're not dads because they know they're not good enough. They're humiliated. They don't want to be seen. More men commit suicide than women by a long shot.
More women attempt to commit suicide. Men are more successful because they use guns more often, whereas women tend towards pills, cutting, things of that nature. But men will more likely use a gun, which is more higher success rate.
This has to stop, Hillary. Hillary Crowder, this has to stop.
It's not a contest, by the way. I'm just trying to contextualize that comment because it gets brought up a lot.
If somebody's got to get that video pulled. Stephen Crowder, you got to get that video pulled. Do not let this horrible woman.
Yes, because it's very easy once something is on the internet to get it pulled down.
You married the wrong woman, Stephen. If you want a real wife, you need to set that straight with her right from the start, and don't put up with any of this bullshit. And I'm glad you didn't.
Basically, she's just saying abuse her harder.
I'm glad that's not your type, Stephen. You're an alpha male. You need an alpha female. And you know what an alpha female is? An alpha female is not a ball buster. An alpha female is a cocksucker.
Well, she wants Steven so bad.
It's not your type, Stephen. You're an alpha male. You need an alpha female. And you know what an alpha female is? An alpha female is not a ball buster. An alpha female is a cocksucker.
Fraggled Rock, thanks for 27 months. Hydrate from Dr. Gamble. Fraggled Rock, this sub-baby's name is going to be Hillary Alpha.
Hey, honey. Can I relieve your stress? Do you need a massage? How about a sandwich? How about if I just sit quietly over here and knit while you figure out all the problems of the world? Is there
It kind of sounds like she just has a fetish.
anything I can do for you, my darling? That's what Hillary should have been saying at that very moment. No, darling, I'm not going to go out. I don't want to do anything to add to your stress. Okay?
It's funny when old people describe their fetish and they don't even know it's a fetish.
Space right now is not more important.
Like, this is quite specifically like some kind of subservience domination fetish that she hasn't like thought about at all. H. Baird says she's totally writing a self-insert slash fiction. Oh yeah.
Than making sure that you're okay, that we're okay. I don't need my space that badly because I married you. This is my space. This is my space right here with you. Do you want a sandwich, Stephen? Sorry I upset you. Women seriously have lost their roles, and they've lost what their value is, what their power is, what their capabilities are. First of all, Stephen Crowder's a genius. He's a genius. We don't have that many around that are willing to fight the narrative. I mean, he was wrong about QAnon, and so if anything, this is bashing Q and all of our research. That's your karma for that. But
Gnome Pickles says, am I infantilizing men and giving the worst of them an excuse to not handle their stress in a healthy way? No, it's all the humans with healthy coping mechanisms who are wrong.
You need new women because Hillary isn't the right girl, but you're going to suffer from what Hillary did to you for a long time, Stephen. She's not. She's going to benefit. Every man she meets along the way is still going to keep paying for her. And those kids. It's just horrible what she's done. No, I'm not on her side at all, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. I think women need to get back in the kitchen and start nurturing their men. There is...
Moira Soma says, I had this discussion with a TERF who wanted the L out of the LGBTQ. She just looked at all men as beasts and said trans women were just as abusive as other men. Her words, not mine. She wanted trans women to not be in relationships with lesbians. Like, that was her whole point of being a TERF. This is sadly the opinion in the circles around J.K. Rowling. Like, people like that, they understand that, like, that's fine. Like, if you're a cis lesbian and you don't want to date a trans woman, okay, then don't. No one's making you. Like, what the fuck? Why are you making some kind of movement as if that isn't already allowed? You're allowed to do whatever you want.
what my mother was able to create in the family, the home, the stability, the memories, the smells, the atmosphere, everything my mom did, the magical touch of a woman is what makes the world go round. It's why my dad existed. If my dad had lost my mom, he would have died.
Wow, kind of sounds like your dad's useless.
He would have committed suicide. So in some way, shape, or form, he would have died. None of what he was able to accomplish would have happened without my mom. None. Hillary didn't know her place. She really didn't know, and she didn't know her power. And Stephen, I understood what he was saying. Like, you need to pitch in, be disciplined. He's disciplined, okay? He's working hard.
He was sitting there smoking a cigar during that argument.
And
like an 80s movie villain.
She didn't challenge him. He wouldn't be, he wouldn't have to. I mean, he didn't stand up. He didn't clench his fist. You wouldn't believe what I've been through.
He did stand up after she said, like, you're abusive. He was like, don't you dare. And he stood up and followed her into the house angrily. What are you talking about?
If anybody recorded some of the stuff between me and my ex-husband, it would have been absolutely the most embarrassing thing in the world. Because he has autism and he has meltdowns. And I have to manage that. And sometimes I managed it well and sometimes I didn't. Those are private things between people. You don't put that on.
Good Lord, this is a shit show of a video. Profane Priestess says, listen, I'm a service sub. I like taking care of my partners. Genuinely, one of my most enjoyable things to me is giving someone else a massage or bathing someone for them. I don't view it as my purpose, but it's satisfying to me and it makes me happy. I'm still a person who deserves to have my thoughts and feelings respected. Hell, I also want a doctorate. You can be submissive, even servile, without accepting emotional abuse. Yeah, of course you can. That's what I don't get. And so what I'm saying is, it seems like this woman has her own preferences, what I would consider borderline a sexual fetish for this sort of subservience, which is fine. I have no problem with that, but she's prescribing that to other people. It's weird. Y2 Yasmin says, oh, and ableism, is there a list or an ist this woman isn't, besides feminist, that is? Umatsa says, she said X, so she's allowed to get a divorce, but no other woman. Yeah, she does. She still works with her ex-husband on her racist, anti-indigenous thing, though.
It's like, do you want to videotape people going to the bathroom, too? I mean, what is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you people? These are private relationships.
Hydrate.
You're disgusting. Everybody who did that, you're disgusting. Candace, I could never. You're just a gossiping girl. It just goes to show you that you can be really smart because you are Candace, but that's bad character. It's bad character, and I'm spanking you, and spanking Hillary, and I'm right about this. And Stephen Crowder, hold your head up high. Do not let this crush. You know what? I suggest you do talk about this more, and I suggest you talk about it more in terms of stats of men who commit suicide, divorce rates, what happens in divorce court to them. You're just about, hey, this is God giving you a fast-track lesson on just how discriminatory court is against men. You must have learned a few things. It's terrible. I didn't do that to my ex-husband. The courts wanted me to. They're just vultures. They're horrible. His first wife did that to him, and I was married to him, and that is actually what split us up. All these split up families, that's, oh gosh. Unless a parent dies, unless everything is so bad, your life is in danger. Why did Hillary leave? No, she didn't love him. No, she wasn't committed. No, she wasn't. That's a lie. That was a manipulative, gaslighting lie. Stephen Crowder was committed. He went to work every day. That's what my mom said. That's what my dad said to my mom. Look, you've changed the.
Stephen Crowder's job is literally just shitting on trans people.
Sorry, it's like.
Okay, enough of this. We have enough of her justifying abuse. Just wanted you to see how crazy she is. Oh.
Okay, folks. Let me just sum up. I just Skyped with Terrence Jenkins last night. I finally heard from him after a silence of 1.5 months. Around June the 21st, when Terrence was Skyping with me, Brent Spiner said, hey, yoo-hoo, Terrence, something's going on with Matthew McConaughey's penis. And what was happening was all of my men's penises were being attacked. There was a very serious malware in the computer system at Church of Gale, and it caused all the men at Church of Gale to cause them to have all sorts of penis afflictions. It was very painful. And let me just, they spent, the ordeal with the penises lasted for at least a good week in that June. So like from June 21st to June 28th, they were just having this ordeal with penises. Because of Jesuit trigger programming on the Church of Gale computers, they spent a lot of time in sick bay. Matthew practically had a vagina at that point. What happened was Vladimir Putin, they found out that he ended up getting his bladder exploded.
So much cock fixation in this episode. It's true. It's true.
They had to put him in stasis where they froze him.
This is the penis episode.
And all sorts of things happened to him. He had heart attacks, and right in the middle of an operation to fix him for a heart attack, he woke up, and then he judo chopped the doctor. He felt bad about that, but this is like gut reflex with Vladimir. And he, and then when he woke up, he heroically pushed himself, which explains why the accurate pictures of Vladimir in the media made him look like he was almost dead. And he managed to fly Church of Gale down to China. And on the way down, several nukes almost hit them because I guess they were going so fast. The Earth radars are not as good as Church of Gale radars, and they thought that Church of Gale was a nuke or a nuke. And Vladimir
Reference to the new cocky. That's nice. Good callback.
had to outmaneuver that. And he heroically, even while his body was like thawing out from being frozen and everything, he managed to bring Church of Gale to land in China. And then he fell asleep, and then the rest of the guys took over. I think Brent Spiner was a leader in that. And they chose to go to China because Hu Jintao is, on my marriage list. So they figured that'd be a good place to try to fix their penises. Hu Jintao apparently assigned some Chinese doctors to work on them, and they agreed with the doctors that they would be put under anesthesia.
Let's take a look at the bingo card. Let's see where we're at. Isn't that the plot to season 2 of Picard? Close enough. That's not how women work for a lot of stuff. Force feminization? She talked about the sissification, quote-unquote, of men, so let's call it that. Word salad. Believe sci-fi tech actually exists for Gale. Talking about the spaceship. Overthought, thanks for a link.
What the hell is that?
What else? What else? QAnon claimed as a source for the one lady. Clinton's for her mention of Hillary. God damn it. That's it for page 1, I think. Oh, yep, recording in car. Thank you. The classic Chris spot. Did she call feminism satanic at any point? Was Satanism brought up? I don't remember. Line between Chudwatch and Tinfoil Tuesday thins. Hannah's so exasperated all she can do is put her head in her hands for a bit. Transphobia transvestigation from Chris. Flat Earth. Oh, holographic and or fake sun sky. Yep. MH Darkbeast says it's a shame that we can't ever cover Gale's children's book. So horrible, with strap-ons, cat anuses, and Brent Spiner being forced to sex his cat. Gale needs help. True, true. I guess I could, if I could find a copy and just not show the pictures, I could just describe them. It'd be kind of funny. Yeah, someone doesn't understand cameras. I don't think I was Dies of Laughter. I wasn't quite there. That's not how science works for the whole Chris vid. He didn't make specific claims about how science works, so no. Brett Spiner doesn't even like cats. He doesn't hate them. I saw an interview. He just doesn't like working with cats. Like, he said he likes cats, and he's fine, like, with cats as, like, you know, being around them. Just acting with the cats for Spot was a pain in the ass. What was staggering levels of hypocrisy for? Yeah, maybe it'd be a good patron stream. Speaking of which, tomorrow's gonna be a patron stream. You can still join the Patreon if you'd like. So join it. Here's a link to the Patreon. Alright, I think that's it. You remember him saying he didn't want to find Spot at the end of Generations. He's wished he'd found Geordi instead. Oh, and honestly, I'm glad it was Spot, because especially with how his arc kind of comes to a close in Picard Season 3, it makes the Spot relationship more of a thing. So, what's that? Just $1 a month for more streams? You betcha. Oh, well, here's a lady walking around thinking she has Tartaria in her own hometown.
One of the things that has always...
Oh, you're right. Hypocritical because of the divorce thing. So yes, staggering hypocrisy is checked off the bingo card.
Like, fascinated me since I moved to this area. And I used to work downtown at a little salon downtown here. Is these buildings that are like...
Are these buildings?
Built into the hillside, right? Like, I used to always just stare at them like and wonder, like, what?
It's a good encapsulation of your average TikTok conspiracy theorist. Like, what?
Like, just confused, really. Like, why? How?
How did they build a building into a mountain? What do you mean, how? I don't understand how you could not understand.
Like, what would possess somebody to, like, you know, hey, let's build into this hill. Like,
it's dope. You've apparently never played Minecraft.
You know? How'd they, like...
Especially if it's in... I don't know if it's a hot area, but that can, like, be really good for insulation and keep things cool. So... it kind of depends. There could be numerous reasons why one could do this, both aesthetic and practical, but instead of just, like, she's doing the just asking questions thing, she's jacking off, JAQ, just asking questions. She's effectively, instead of actually looking for answers to her questions, she's using questions that she believes she has a hypothesis to push people towards her conspiracy belief.
Ground above it state, like, as they built, you know, right? I mean, that's just the stuff that I thought about. Like, this whole hillside is just, like, built into, right? And then when you take a look at, like, this building, like the crazy window, and all of these buildings actually go down because there's tunnels on below. When I used to work at this little salon over here, I used to do hair in the basement, and they used to talk about how it was haunted all the time. And you can clearly see how all of those buildings, like, that go down the main street, that go lower, like, they go into the ground, like, at an angle. Like, it's really weird looking. It used to always, like, really weird me out. So, yeah, like, all...
You mean because the road is on a hill, they still make the houses level on a hill because you need to live in them and you don't want to be like this all the time. Yes, they put houses and buildings flat on hills. Does she think buildings on hills should be like this? Like tilted? Like the way that the ground is going?
All of the main street down there has got these like tunnels, underground tunnels. And I had access to one of them when I worked down there for our storage unit. So this is the view from up on the hill at a park. It's just really odd. And now it makes so much more sense the more that I read about, you know, the Tartaria and the mud floods and all this stuff, like, in all of these buildings.
I don't know how to fix the American educational system, but oh boy, does it need fixing. Holy hell. We are doing bad. Okay.
I've covered this topic before with Joe Biden. Many know about the double or maybe triples when it comes to Joe Biden. Something is definitely going on. And that brings me back to which I showed before, the Illuminati card game that came out back in 1995. And one specific card is called the Imposter card. And this definitely looks like...
This is what's weird to me, is conspiracy theorists will look at things and not even understand what they're talking about. So this conspiracy Illuminati card game that came out in the 90s, you can still get. It is a card game, but like this Imposter card and many of the other cards in the set, they didn't make it up out of whole cloth. It's made up out of tropes that already exist for conspiratorial movements and beliefs. That's the entire point of the game. It's themed around conspiracy theories. So the idea of a card about a politician having a double, that makes sense in the card game because the theme of the card game is crazy things conspiracy theorists believe. So literally the conspiracy theorist is looking at a thing that is intentionally making fun of them and going, look, the thing that I think, it must be true. They are mocking you. This is mocking you. That's why it's similar to a thing you believe, is because they looked at things people like you believed, and they're like, that's hilarious. We should make a card game.
Like Joe Biden, no doubt whatsoever. And let's get right to the footage from C-SPAN. I removed the audio because there's a lot of noise in the background. But nonetheless, there's Joe Biden with his son, Hunter Biden. And I'm going to speed this up a bit to get to the main point of this. As we move forward, and Joe Biden turns around at this point here. And just take a look here as he touches his neck. This is no way just some natural skin being pushed around. Take a look at that. And it's being stretched.
It looks like he's an old guy with loose skin. My grandpa's a bit older. Hunter Biden on the bingo. If he is, then yes. Yeah, I get the feeling that this guy hasn't been around a lot of older people. My grandparents are older than Joe Biden. So, old. That happens. As you get older, your skin will, how do I put this? Like, I'm, you know, in my late 20s, so, like, my skin still has some stretchability, right? As I've lost weight, my skin does kind of, you know, come back in. But as you get older, your skin loses that elasticity. So if you get older and your skin gets stretched out, it starts getting loose, it sags, it loses collagen and isn't elastic. Thank you, Baha. You know things. This just happens when you age, and that can be horrifying to you. Like, I also am kind of creeped out by that, just because, like, it projects fear in me. I don't want to get old, you know, and die. But that's life. It is a thing that happens. It's just loose skin. It's loose skin. It really is. Does that count as a Baja Blast? I'll give it to you, sure.
and you see those lines. Try touching your neck for the non-believers.
I'm not 80 years old, so...
Believers that Joe Biden and the whole mask deal. Try touching your neck and see what happens. How about your granny or your grandpa? Have them do the same thing and see if this happens as well. Another little bit of a close-up here of the same. Take a look here at Biden touching his neck, or supposed neck, and you can see...
Like, don't get me wrong, it also kind of gives me a little bit of a... like, I don't like to look at it, but like, yes, that happens.
This is absolutely not natural. Let me back up here one last time. And you can definitely see...
Can we not look at this?
Some type of silicone. This is not natural. Without a shadow of a doubt, something's going on. And that gets to this. This clip with former chief of disguise with the CIA, Jana Mendez. And before playing this interview clip, I find the name very interesting. They love a play on names. In the name Mendez, we should all know, for anybody that's been following me for over the years, the name Mendez, as in Baphomet, the goat of Mendez.
What? Profane Priestess says, aging terrifies me and makes me really dysphoric, if I'm honest. We associate femininity with youth in a pretty one-to-one way. I don't know if that's common amongst trans femmes, though. No, I feel that. I'm almost 30, and I feel like I haven't, like, gotten... How do I explain this? I feel like I missed out on any potential for, like, early to mid-20 hot girl time, you know? Just completely missed it, you know? And I'm still missing it, in my opinion, because I'm still in the middle of losing weight and, like, whatever. But I'm not trying to be self-flagellating here. The point is, yes, you're not alone in that insecurity and feeling like you lost out on some stuff and that, like, things are just coming faster and faster with age. It happens.
They love this type of play on names with individuals like this, with the surname...
Predictive programming because of the game card? Yes.
I know the spelling is different, but the way it's pronounced obviously is identical. And that gets into, of course, as you see here, Baphomet, again, the goat of Mendez. Let's play this interview clip. And as I stated many times, with all lies, they give us the truth. And definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, when they say former CIA, it's always CIA. They're always putting the truth out in plain sight.
My name is Jana Mendez, and I was Chief of Disguise at the CIA. In my role as Chief of Disguise, my major concern was always protecting people. Things that was going on when I was Chief of Disguise was an enormous research program into the new advanced disguise system. It was basically the masks that everybody always wondered if we used masks, and this was the beginning. This is a series of photographs of when I met George H.W. Bush in the Oval Office and revealed to him that I was briefing him wearing a mask.
As longtime CIA lawyer John Rizzo tells it, the relationship between the spy agency and La La Land is quite cozy. In his new...
I feel like... Oh, this is a clip from RT, by the way, Russian state propaganda. Not the clip earlier, that was from a YouTube channel where they interviewed that woman, but this particular clip. It gives me the vibe, the mask that she showed, of that I Think You Should Leave sketch where he's at the mall and he's in all the makeup and he's like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Book company men, Rizzo says that actors, producers, and other movie-making power players were always happy to help out the CIA in any way they could.
Keep us asleep, keep us...
And then it's a They Live reference. So they live on the bingo card.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Today.
Oh, this is annoying. This is at some city council meeting in Florida. This gentleman asks them to investigate NASA because they think space doesn't exist. This is a real thing that happened.
Today I'd like to bring to your attention a potential fraud on an enormous scale happening in your county. There's now clear evidence of NASA using numerous methods to grossly mislead the public about astronauts being on the International Space Station. During interior ISS scenes from NASA's own live feed, the use of wires, harnesses, green screens, and virtual reality have been detected to achieve the appearance of a weightless environment.
No, they're in space, Sorry.
Examples of this include astronauts fading in and out of the screen, green screen glitches.
That's not a green screen glitch, sir. That would be a glitch with the transmission because they're live streaming from space. And the way that video works, live streaming, is in order to make it efficient, basically, is that only pixels that change between frames are actually sent as data. If nothing changes in certain spaces in the frame, then no new data is transmitted, right? This is how you can compress data a lot. So in the case of a glitch like this, what is happening is the data stream is having trouble tracking the parts that are moving and the parts that aren't. And it's basically a glitch with that. That's what you're seeing here. It's not a green screen. There's no amount of green screen anything that'll do this. This isn't a green screen effect.
Grabbing objects that aren't really there, pulling on invisible wires, getting tangled in their harnesses, and even astronauts appearing out of thin air.
That's literally an intentional effect for a video. Like, look! Hi everyone, I'm on the International Space Station. Here's an editing trick. H-Beard says, I have a modest proposal.
That does it. South America, take it away.
It's also why static fucks up your compression. Yeah.
This begs the obvious question. If they're really up there, why are they using Hollywood techniques to fake the footage?
They're not.
Now, unfortunately, I can't show you these clips in here today, but I will be sending them to you. Outside the International Space Station, during spacewalks, air bubbles have been recorded on numerous occasions.
They're not air bubbles, sir.
How is it possible for air bubbles to be present in the vacuum of...
They're not. They're ice crystals, and in some cases, flecks of paint. But they don't act like bubbles. They don't look like bubbles.
Space? I once questioned astronaut Scott Kelly about this phenomenon. His body language and answers only created...
His body language? Wow.
...created more questions. In 2013, astronaut Luca Parmitano nearly drowned during a spacewalk when his helmet filled with water.
Correct. The pouch or something, I forget it was the coolant or the actual like thing that he had to drink from, but either way, something basically leaked in his spacesuit, and because of the way that you're in microgravity in space, the water that was leaking into his helmet area, because he's in, you know, microgravity, pooled around his face. So even though the helmet wasn't like full of water, the water that was in there was pooling here because of how gravity works. So basically he was fucked because it was all sticking around where his breathing holes are. So they brought him in and fixed it, and he was okay. But it was the coolant garment, thank you. It leaked into the helmet.
This happened again just last year.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I said gravity. It's also surface tension because it sticks in, you know. Adia Blue says, in a way, video streams are compressed in a way very similar to green screening. A mask is generated and data that matches the mask is discarded. Only difference is the target, the green screen, the screen, the screen green or unchanging static pixels, signed a data engineer. Thank you.
Air bubbles, helmets filling with water, and drowning. Are they in space or are they underwater?
They're in space.
Now, what's really interesting is that they train for spacewalks in an underwater pool with a complete ISS replica.
Correct, they do. It's for training purposes.
Now, surely they aren't filming these spacewalks in an underwater pool and then editing them to appear if they're in space.
Correct, they're not.
Because that sure would be something, wouldn't it?
It would, but they're not. And the fake thing you came up with here to illustrate that doesn't look good, so it's kind of going against your argument, not for it. Gnome Pickles says, I demand to know why he and all astronauts were lying about having worked for years to achieve the privilege to go to space and infer that everything he ever achieved is a lie, and he was very aggressive and angry at me. Seems sus. Stakem, thanks for gifting 10 Tier 1 subs. Thank you.
I'm calling on the Brevard County Commissioners to open a full investigation into NASA's fraudulent practices and use of tax...
You would like a local governmental body to call for an investigation into NASA? What do you think the N in NASA stands for, sir? Just checking. Because I don't think this local governmental body has authority.
Taxpayer dollars. It costs NASA $3 billion per year to operate the ISS, and
It's not that much compared to the federal budget.
if they don't have a darn good explanation as to why they're faking these videos,
They're not.
I and the public would like a darn good explanation as to where our tax money is going.
It's gone into NASA. You're just dumb and don't understand how things work.
And if they
Glad we could clear that up for you.
are indeed faking the funk, it is our duty to expose and eliminate this fraudulent and astronomically wasteful ISS program.
Astronomically, I see what you did there.
And look, I know what you're all thinking. The NASA is part of the federal government, and you're just county commissioners. Even if
Correct.
what I'm saying is true,
It's not.
what can you do?
Nothing.
But let me remind you, not only is this happening in your county, as public officials,
It's kind of irrelevant. Pretty sure NASA's like buildings and stuff are probably considered federal property, so they have no jurisdiction like whatsoever. Adia Blue says, call the FBI, Florida Bureau of Investigation.
you have the platform and the ability to make a statement or hold a press conference, alerting the public, state, and federal authorities to investigate further. You have the power to start the conversation. Video evidence of everything I described today will be emailed to you all, and I truly hope we can get to the bottom of this. I look forward to the day that $3 billion annual budget is put towards our veterans, our homeless.
Fuck off. You don't care about those things. If you did, you'd go after the military budget or literally any other item in the budget. Because NASA's less than 1%, as said in chat.
Maybe some of that mental health stuff the young lady just spoke about, and the revitalization of Brevard County.
Good God. A ton of people in the county probably work for NASA, too. That's the funny thing. He's like, investigate NASA. How many people in this county, the constituents of the people on the council, probably work for NASA? Oh.
This is a short video from Mud Flood Was Armageddon to give you an update of the purgatory-like experience that I've been living in. I'll show this video while I do some talking here. Like you, I have a past and a future. My past has been in serving the Lord. My past includes the Lord using me to discover that mud flood was Armageddon, that the 1,000 years is past. It includes writing a book that was on Amazon I've talked about, of how they released information to a group of...
Saying you've released a book is so much less impressive these days. Like, that probably sucks if you're someone who's actually had a book, like, published by a publisher. Because anytime you're like, I've had a book published, you need to, like, clarify, like, not self-published. I didn't just print on demand on Amazon. I, like, legit got a publisher.
of people, and there were the remnants and then the true believers of the remnants. I feel that I brought out as much as I could about it, and as I look back, there is only one thing left to do, and that is to serve the Lord with all my heart, all my mind, and all my spirit, and that there is one God. I am right now, realizing that the facade of life in America is probably much like the facade of life in the rest of the world, under the dome in Flat Earth Nation. I want to warn people, I've had so much faith in people when they wanted to help me in the past, and you remember some of the names: More Than a Flame, Isabella 2.0, Eric Anthony. Recently I've seen videos of the 70 videos about mud flood. I wasn't on it. I saw another one from kingdom within.
Gnome Pickle says, I have friends who do self-publishing and put a great deal of work into their stuff. The same tools that allow them to create great art is also the tool that allows this guy to call himself published. On all parades, a little rain must fall.
7 channels, and I wasn't on it, but it was people that learned about Golden Age past from me and presented it, and that's fine, because that's the way it is. But the Lord knows, and I know.
He is, man.
And
he thinks he's not getting the credit he deserves for his bullshit.
All I can do is move forward. I need your prayer. I'm praying that the place that I was first sent to in Houston from Beaumont to take care of my ankle, I did not get any help here. It's only been an aggravation and a weight, but the Lord chastens even those he loves, and I never would have had this learning experience and of knowing of the few people that have reached out to me, and I saw your comments, and it's been hurtful, to answer and not be able to give a good answer of like, yeah, it's okay, here you go, more breaking news. I feel
he's just rambling. He's just mad. First name bunch of numbers says, as someone who has just traveled internationally, I can assure you that America is not exactly like the rest of the world. I feel like Australia comes off better in comparison too. Ooh, that's not good. That's not good. The penal colony's beating us.
To honestly observe, and far better.
Oh no.
Welcome everybody to Mud Flood Was Armageddon, formerly Flat Earth Nation, Golden Age Past. Because Mud Flood was Armageddon, it is the Flat Earth Nation and the Golden Age is past. And I want to expose one of what is the biggest misconceptions among what is the Wide Road Church. And that basically and this is an unscripted show, it basically, the Wide Road believes that Israel can do no wrong, and God still has Israel, physical Israel, who they believe is that...
I feel like this is going to get maybe anti-Semitic.
...small state over there, what they call Jerusalem, as the...
Just looking at his tabs, by the way, his tabs that I'm noticing the most are Bible Hub, Drudge Report homepage, and his PayPal.
Apple of God's eye, and that no matter what they do, they will still be blessed. I think that's a real misconception, because when you think about the Bible, there's Abraham, Adam and Eve, Joseph, and the patriarchs.
Growing up at work, my dad has Drudge Report set to his homepage. At least he used to.
David, Solomon.
Adia Blue says, your daily reminder that Australia is surprisingly right-wing. Gay rights are struggling. It's illegal to gender transition in most states. Native Australians are just short of being lost forever, and the government is nothing but corrupt coal land barons. Lovely.
It talks about Nineveh, Tyre, and it does go in, to some of the histories of King David. And then there's a lot of prophecies about with Nebuchadnezzar, Cyrus, and the time of the Gentiles, where they basically rebuild the temple. And then up until the time of Christ, there's God-fearing Greeks that are building the synagogues, and the Jews made the temple into a den of thieves. Now, my contention is that I'm going to start just reading Deuteronomy 28, and it does seem that God wrote the end from the beginning for narrow road Christians, I believe, and for those people who were spiritual Israel along the way, because not everyone who was from Israel is spiritual Israel, as we learned in the New Testament. But let's just let Deuteronomy 28
Oh, yeah. This is just gonna get... Yeah. I see where that one's going. Oh, that's loud. Sorry.
Hey, I want to talk about 5G
5G on the bingo card.
and dreaming. I'm back up in the woods. I'm a little bit away from the 5G. Where I live, it's not a big city or anything, but it's but they put a cell phone tower right by me, and I guess there's at least 3 cell phone towers real close right here. But where I'm at right now, I'm up in the woods, and if I camp out, if I stay in this little tent or stay in a nice little mosquito hammock right by here, you know, my soul, it's more problems for the reptilians to hold down.
Shit, reptilians on the bingo card.
If I'm right near the 5G towers, I can't dream like I want to dream.
Oh.
But here, if I
5G isn't affecting your ability to dream. That's not how anything works.
I'm sleeping, I mean, there's a cell phone tower. There's only one though, and it's probably 2 miles. Probably 2 miles away. But anyway, I can tell them a lot more problem for the reptilians and their 5G and the faggot ass little grays to keep down. Last time, maybe not the last time.
Banned for slur. Here's a Mandela effect thing. Cat makes an appearance on the bingo card. Blue, you smell like poop. You smell like poop. You need to clean your poop.
So 1 year ago, I made a video called The Curious George Mandela Effect. And I talked about how Curious George changed from having
Kippy says, you heard it here, folks. The Greys are
a
gays.
tail to not having a tail.
Curious George has never had a tail. It's fine. It's fine. You just misremember it.
Curious George is the main character of a series of popular children's books and
Like, for fuck's sake, Curious George is an ape. Why would he have a tail? Apes don't have tails.
TV episodes of the same name. Written by Margaret
Oh, you're so poopy.
and
You don't even have, like, a big
Ray.
chunk on you. Why do you just smell?
George, who is referred to as a monkey in the books, was brought from his home in Africa by the man in the yellow hat. They are best friends and they live together in the city and the country.
The tail is photoshopped on. That's something he or someone else made for this Mandela effect thing.
When the first story, Cicely G and the 9 Monkeys, was published in France in 1939, George was named Fifi.
Okay.
In the United Kingdom, George was originally called Zuzo in 1941, apparently to avoid using the name of the then King George VI. I did find something to show that he was called Zuzo, and he did
This has the tone of, this is my book report. He's doing a great job.
have a tail. I find it strange that his name was Zuzo because that is the name of a demon. I remember
You mean Pazuzu? That's a different one.
Curious George having a tail, and he would swing from it in the books and the
No, he doesn't.
cartoons. He is
You are misremembering.
after
It's fine.
all a monkey. So take a look and let me know if you remember him having a tail. Enjoy.
Literally just him fucking... Okay.
Old maps are often dismissed as inaccurate because they depict lands that seemingly no longer exist.
Also, sea monsters.
But surely we are doing the old cartographers a disservice as...
Not really. Like, I have no disrespect for, cartographers in the past, but that doesn't mean they were always right. And sometimes they just make shit up because they didn't know it was in certain places.
The accuracy of old maps were extremely crucial for explorers and travelers whose lives depended on their ability to navigate through unfamiliar territories.
Yeah, and sometimes they were wrong, or just made shit up.
Therefore, perhaps it is unlikely that cartographers would fabricate lands that did not exist. With this mindset, we are going to look at some interesting old maps. This map was made in 1606 by famous cartographer Gerardus Mercator. There are many interesting things on this map. First of all, we have Greenland with no ice. We see charted mountains and rivers, and even right here we can see some towns. These symbols are how they mark towns on this map. As you can see in Iceland, which is spelt island at the time, many towns and...
Y2 Yasmin says, wait, I kind of spaced there for a sec. Why is he using AI to make it sound like the In a World movie announcer guy, so he doesn't have to use his own voice?
Totally ice-free.
Yeah, like, they're just mistaken, and someone else pointed out that sometimes cartographers would just take stuff from earlier maps that were incorrect. Like, it happens. It's fine. Like, I'm not shitting on them for being wrong. It just, they're wrong. That's fine. You don't have to come up with a conspiracy.
Even more interesting is this little island here. And you can see how many towns there are. And looking at another map from 1606, we can see the same island here. Here.
Okay, again, maps cribbed off each other. So they probably got the idea from the same source.
We have Greenland, Iceland. Looking at a modern-day map, there is no sign of that island.
Because it doesn't exist. It was probably being mistaken for something else or was wholly fabricated at some point and just continually telephoned into maps. Oh, honey. You are very inconvenient for my job.
By all accounts, this island no longer exists. Back to the Gerardus Mercator map. We see Russia here. In these times, Russia was called Rus, and this was shortly after the name was Tartaria. So already we see Tartaria replaced with Rus. But what I would like to focus on is these parts of Asia, which we would now call Siberia. As a reference here, it is on a modern-day map. This area here, Upper Siberia, a very remote area of the world. Moscow is over here next to Europe, and most of the towns and cities are in this lower area. So in this region on the old map, we see many towns amongst these mountains. Here a big one which appears to be a castle, or maybe even a city. And here we have the name Tartar Wild.
I like the little boom sound effect they put in. Very legit.
In this other map, we see we have just 2 towns in this area. Much less activity compared to the other map. Now, of course, the main part of this map, the elephant in the room, so to speak, is this North Pole region. This is absolutely
no one had been to the North Pole at this point. It's entirely speculative.
Amazing.
Fenekagami says, dude, we were teaching anatomy wrong for thousands of years because scholars were just cribbing off each other that whole time rather than actually cutting into cadavers.
Now again, this map was created by Gerardus Mercator, the father of the map we all use today.
Okay. And this map is also inaccurate, depending on what you're looking at. All maps are projections. Some are just more accurate than others.
He is a very respected map maker. We certainly cannot assume he was a fool who would make
He doesn't have to be a fool to do something speculatively.
Up entire continents of land without substantial evidence of their existence. And here in the center of this North Pole region is Rups Nigra. This has been described as a magnetic black mountain and is seen in many maps from around this time. Even in this map we see it.
Gnome Pickles says, so an area labeled Tartar Wild in Russia, why it cannot be a reference to territory held by a group there called the Tartars, who were a Turkish group that moved into Russia in that time period. Yeah, but they think Tartaria is like a big secret ancient empire that was in charge of everything in the world, so they're gonna go with that.
Also, this island appears to be gone now, which was located in the Oceanus Tartaricus. But without a doubt, this North Pole area seems to be gone on modern maps. So back to this map. Here we see we have a region said to be inhabited by pygmies. And some of these rivers were said to flow inwards, pulling ships into the center with strong currents.
Boy, it sure sounds like something mythological. Crazy that it doesn't actually exist, huh?
Now on this map, made 11 years later, a portion of the pygmy region is missing. And these islands have...
Yeah, the area probably got explored and they were like, oh, there's no fucking land here. That's weird.
have changed. Skeptics will argue that this was all made up by the cartographers at the time.
Yeah.
Perhaps not purposely by these map makers, but by poor intel. But surely a landmass such as this North Pole region would need to be corroborated by several different sources.
Right, but they can all be corroborated by other wrong sources. At some point it was made up. Now we've been there. We know it doesn't look like this. It's that simple.
Is it possible that some sort of cataclysm befell this region in the not-so...
No, no one had been there. This was in the 1600s. No one had been to the North Pole in the 1600s. They made shit up.
...distant past, and either sunk these land masses or buried them in ice. Of course, we can't be sure, but nevertheless, I hope you have found these maps interesting, and I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
What about Santa Claus? I have bad news. Oh, God.
Everyone's heard of these top secret military bases that are underground, the DUMBs as they call them. Deep underground military bases. You've seen the maps, you understand the networks. The question is, what's really going on? We've got the inside scoop, and it's going to blow your mind, to say the least. Most people assume that these deep underground military bases are there to survive a nuclear war, which is partly correct. But essentially, this deep underground military base system is there to survive much more than that. Maybe you're thinking an asteroid. Maybe you're thinking Planet X.
Nibiru! Planet X Nibiru on the bingo card. Marcus Drake says these people would be blown away by the mountains of Kong. The mountains of Kong are a legendary mountain range charted on maps of Africa from 1798 through the late 1880s. The mountains were once thought to begin in West Africa near the highland source of the Niger River, close to Tambacounda in Guinea, then continue east to the equally legendary Central African Mountains of the Moon. Thought to be where the White Nile had its source, none of these mountains actually exist. And this is a couple hundred years after the map he was citing. That's interesting.
But essentially,
Planet X, that's where the Cybermen came from. Mondus, yeah.
According to the intelligence reports, these deep underground military bases are there to survive an alien invasion. I know what the skeptics are thinking. I know what the flat earthers are thinking.
So lately, the Alien Wars guy, and this is weird, because this is the guy that I speculated was just cynically doing this, and he had no actual motive other than maybe fucking with people and enriching himself if he's selling some sort of EM solutions. He's, like, beefing with flat earthers now because he's not a flat earther. He thinks flat earth is stupid. He believes in other conspiracy theories like 5G and stuff. but he hates Flat Earth and he's mad at them now for some reason. So now I'm less on the page of thinking he's an outright scammer and more thinking he is crazy himself. But, like, is also mad at Flat Earthers for some reason? But he's crazy about his stuff.
And yet, there is no video from a skyscraper where a flat earther is zooming in on the sun after it sets. They could do it, just like with the little ships over the horizon. We know that the sun is in the next time zone over. They should be able to zoom in. But we know that the sun is in the next time zone over. They could do it, just like with the little...
Sorry, there's like a one frame thing and I wanted to read it. So how you guys doing? Come here often? This is a stupid job. Looking for a single frame in a conspiracy video. Cool, 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 cool. Oh, it's coming. It was like over this, right? Where was it? Did I miss it? There it was. FEMA coffins and the New World Order. Ah, okay. It wasn't a secret message. It was just a bad editing mistake.
They should be able to zoom in, but they can't. And the reason is quite simple. The Earth is not flat. We're sorry to break that to you as well. As much as we would like the Earth to be flat, it's just not flat. Otherwise, everyone would be going on to a skyscraper and zooming in on the sun after it sets.
Elminato says, Hannah, haven't you learned bad editing mistakes are conspiracy theories?
Easy as that. But what's important to understand here is that there's a lot of secrecy involved with this deep underground military base system and what appears to be a looming alien invasion.
Aliens.
And so the government has put out
Bingo.
Conspiracy groups like Q and Flat Earthers.
QAnon claimed as a
Essentially to push people away from the idea of an alien invasion. Oh, it's all blue beam. There's nothing out there. We're all alone. It's almost like evolution, but worse. But based on the intelligence reports, these deep underground military base systems are set up to survive a massive alien encounter. Worse than the movie Independence Day. What...
He does think Q is an op, so I guess that's fair. PSYOP. PSYOP on the bingo card.
We're expecting are weapons that can basically take out a state or a country in a single blast and turn it into a crater. Imagine Texas turned into a crater with just one shot. A massive crater. Something like the moon or Mars. And so what military strategists have thought out is essentially setting up a deep underground military base system that's not only continental and intercontinental, but that goes under the oceans like Atlantis or something. And we've been able to identify
Atlantis on the bingo card.
At least 3 or 4 major deep underground military bases that are basically under the ocean floor. And so there's the entire ocean that protects the base, and then supposedly it is another mile or 2 or even more below the surface of the ocean bed, and so they have all of that protection. You've seen the nuclear explosions in water. It's much less impressive. Again, nuclear explosions, another controversial idea, but based on what we've seen, those appear to be real as well.
Oh, good. He's not one of the people who thinks nuclear weapons are fake. That's good.
We're probably not making a whole lot of friends by saying that, but the truth doesn't matter. Or the truth doesn't care, we should say. The truth does matter, but the truth doesn't care. And so you can see this network of deep underground military bases for yourself that are under the ocean. The first one, and we've covered this before in previous broadcasts, is the one that basically starts at Petrolia, California. Petrolia, California. And if you look there, you'll see what looks like a highway going from Petrolia to the middle of the Pacific, somewhere around Midway Island, and you can see what looks like a structure that looks like the United States of America underground.
What?
You can see this in Google Maps clear as day.
It's shaped like America?
Go see it for yourself. Go to Petrolia, look at the road that heads west into the ocean, and you will land on what looks like a continental U.S. underground Atlantis style. That is base number 1. Base number 2 that we've been able to identify is basically starts at Tasmania near Port Arthur, site of the famous shooting that basically disarmed the Australians. And there we see a network of roads leading to a network of squares and rectangles and other geometric shapes that are just not natural under the ocean bed as well. And then there's another one basically off the coast of Peru. We see the same looking straight line highway networks going underground into giant squares or boxes that are
comparing basic public health to the Holocaust on the bingo card.
about the size of New York City or bigger, and this is just what we can see. Like the tide going out to sea before a major tsunami or a major storm. We're just starting to see the ripple effects of this storm coming to shore. It's going to be so bad that essentially it's beyond science fiction. According to the reports, the aliens that are inbound appear to be something like the alien that we see in the Spider-Man series, like Venom. Basically that morphology with
it's goo,
those teeth, and essentially, according to the
I'd wear a symbiote. My favorite, I love when like the symbiote in Spider-Man or in the Marvel Universe in general gets attached to heroes other than Spider-Man, because I always like to see what it does to A, their aesthetic, because black suit, any character is fucking awesome, and 2, them getting like venomized, them turning into monster versions of themselves is always sweet. Do you guys, are you guys familiar with Jeff the Land Shark? Hold on. Jeff the Land Shark. So Jeff the Land Shark is a more recent Marvel character that came about during, was it West Coast Avengers, during the period where Gwenpool is part of the team? Anyway, he's a cute little shark boy, and he's really cute, and he's a pet, and he's a recurring character. But in one story, he got venomized. He got the symbiote attached to him, and he turned into an angry boy. He turned into a very, very angry boy. But it's okay. They got it off of him, and he was fine again. So.
reports, these things are coming to eat people alive. This is just one of the components of the alien invasion that is inbound. This is not the entire species. Or
Groot with Venom. Yes, that was also good. I forget. That was when... Was that when Agent Venom, Flash Thompson, was part of the Guardians? Did they get infected briefly?
Or genre of species that are coming.
Genre of species?
But according to the reports, basically we are a food source for these aliens, and they've been preparing the way.
Jeffrey,
for
you're honor bound to protect these kids. Can you do it?
If you will. Now, if you look at footage of people back from the 1950s, 1920s, everyone is skinny as can be.
A lot of them are smokers, so... But also, yes, less sugar and stuff. I don't disagree. We have very sugar-rich diets in the United States, and corn syrup, which leads to, unfortunately, obesity problems. So. Anyway, I think that's it. I didn't have quite as much material today. It's a Saturday, didn't wait a whole week, but I thought we had some good stuff. So I think no one won the bingo. It's a shame. I mean, Venomverse? I actually haven't read Venomverse yet. But yes, it interests me for that reason, because it's all the different characters as Venom. Oh my god, is that Venom Captain America? Fuck, I need that. Venom Black Panther? Oh, yeah. Oh my god, look at him. Oh my god, it's the Venom Avengers. It's the Venomgers. Carnage. Very cool. God, you still smell like poop. Go get your sister to lick your asshole or something. Jesus. Cartoon Network is satanic, apparently. Let's see. Oh, yeah. This is a short from Adult Swim that right-wingers are freaking out about. Like, it's literally from a programming block that's for high adults, basically. First name, bunch of numbers. Thank you for gifting a sub. There we go. Somebody still want a gift sub today. Thanks, first name, bunch of numbers. I was going to do a random one anyway, but you got it, so. H-Baird says, so does Venom Captain America have an insatiable desire to decentralize Central America, or destabilize Central American countries? That actually sounds awesome. A Captain America... I mean, that's very, I guess, just U.S. agent or nuke. But, like, I do think it would be funny to see Venom Captain America encapsulate some of the worst of America. Considering typically Steve is supposed to be the best, you know? Yeah, Venom Ghost Rider sounds cool. The fire thing, I assume, is just because it's magical fire. Don't think about it. Pym particles did it. Yeah, Hydra Cap. Alright, who we gonna raid? What's Cirrus doing? Wait, what's Jack doing? I don't think we've raided Jack in a while. Sure. Alright, have a great night, everyone. I will see you tomorrow for a patron-only stream. As well as, I think I'll be doing a regular stream as well. But if we don't do a regular stream, we're definitely doing the patron-only stream. But I'd like to do both. The regular stream will be a little earlier in the day, if it happens. So, alright. Have a great night, everyone. It's cool hanging out, as always, looking at conspiracy theories with you. And I hope we get to do it again soon. See you guys later. Have a great night, and Mr. Blast, love you too. Alrighty, adios.